Today I'm going to share with you about a seemingly small and yet major miracle. Stick around. Hi, I'm Cindy. Today I'm going to share with you about a true story that happened to me a number of years ago when my children were small. Let's get right into it. I was in my house, minding my own business, in the kitchen. Seems like I was doing the dishes, if I remember correctly. And all of a sudden, I just had this something dropped inside me, a knowing that I was supposed to take a loaf of bread to a lady named Mary Nolan. Take a loaf of bread to Mary Nolan. And I pondered on it for just a little while, and then I thought, I can't just show up at someone's house with a loaf of bread. If I'm going to do anything like that, I need to take more than just a loaf of bread. So I looked in my kitchen cabinets and I've got a couple cans of green beans, maybe some corn. I don't remember even everything, but it was a small sack I put together with some canned goods, maybe some spaghetti noodles or macaroni, box of macaroni maybe. Anyway, I put together a little sack with some groceries in it, and I was sure that I included a loaf of bread. So I got in my car and I drove to Mary's house, and she lived not terribly far from me. Matter of fact, less than a mile, if I remember right. Um, and I got to tell you, this was the first time I'd ever done anything quite like that, and I was nervous. The unknown, what's she going to think? Um, Maybe that I think she's a pauper or destitute, or how do you just approach somebody's door and say, here, uh, without knowing that they have a need? It was just a knowing, though, on the inside. So I got out of the car. I walked to the door slowly. I knocked on the door, and she was a homeschool mother, so a couple of her little children answered the door, and that was kind of nervous producing as well because I expected Mary to answer the door, so I was kind of ready to see her and bracing for that and how I was going to say something to her. Yet here's these children that answer the door. So I simply said, "Hi, is your mom here?" They said yes, and so they pushed the door back closed and got their mother, and then Mary appeared at the door. She opened the door, and I said, "Mary, I don't know what to say except that here I was doing dishes and I just felt that I was supposed to bring you something. This, a loaf of bread and some other things maybe." And she started to cry. I'll never forget this. She started to cry and then she began to thank God. She raised her hands and said, "Thank you, God." And then she said this to me. I was in my house at my sink doing my dishes. And I said, "Lord, I sure would love to be able to give my children a sandwich for lunch today, but I don't have any bread." Now I want you to see something. First of all, let me tell you this. I said, "Mary, all the rest of those things besides the bread are just things that I felt like I should gather up so that I just didn't show up at your house with a loaf of bread. But the loaf of bread is what I was told to bring to you." I want you to see something. When God leads you to do something, it may not be something profound. It may not be something earth-shattering. It may seem a little bit foolish to you, and you may feel like you have to add something to it. But God knows what He's doing. And Mary needed a loaf of bread, and I had one. And that's what I was supposed to take her. All the rest was just addition. But Mary needed a loaf of bread, and God cared enough about Mary and her children that He moved on me to take her a loaf of bread. Let's get sensitive to the things of God and to His voice and to His quiet nudgings. They won't always be profound. They won't always be grandiose. They won't always make a lot of noise. But they will be what He wants you to do. God bless you today.